Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the second channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Zeta Division versus Crazy Raccoon again. Most of you guys must have seen this. I won't spoil it for you guys if you didn't see the end results of the World Finals. Of course, if you watch my main channel, you would have knew anyways. But we have Shelly, Ems, and Maisie Band on the side of Zeta. And then we see Stu, Lou, and Charlie Band. So a lot of tank counters removed from Zeta. So first picking Rosa is actually very smart. That's one thing I didn't actually think of in a moment. I thought, you know, Rosa first pick, that's pretty bold. But what can you actually go to counter that? So we'll go with a Crow, which, to be honest, doesn't really have the DPS to deal with Rosa anymore. With Crow, you definitely need some big damage dealer to go with it as well. And we go with Sandy. So again, a little bit of a questionable pick into the Rosa because Rosa has such a good matchup. But I guess Sandy's just good into everything. I just don't like the Crow really because, again, his play rates were just absolutely terrible in the World Finals. And then I'm thinking what they can pick next. I completely forgot off the top of my head, but I knew it was something pretty disgusting. Again, if you guys want to see the draft, you can easily just skip through this where I talk about the actual gameplay. We have B mid, which is really good as well. B's very solid into a Crow, and Spike as well. So you have two big counters to Crow, and then also like Crow can deal with Rosa somewhat, but at the same time, like, he just has no DPS. So for me, definitely Zeta needs some big DPS. Because, again, Rosa, so much HP. Sandy and Crow, they're going to take so long to kill her. So they need something to shut her down quickly. And actually just... Okay, they went to max. Okay, that is a terrible composition. I don't know what they're really thinking with this one. I think if you was to actually put a percentage on this one, I think the draft is, like, honestly, 80-90% in the side of Zeta. It really is that favorable. I remember speaking to the pros and they were agreeing as well that the draft was just so in favor of Zeta. You can see right here, so much HP on the side, and now even though it's feeding some shots, they're just getting positioned straight away because there's just nothing that they can do. There's no wall peeking capabilities except for Sandy. It's just constant tickling, and yeah, Spike's just going to delete the max, just going to run it into the Crow, and that's a really fast goal. That is just absolutely insane. To do that against Crazy Raccoon is kind of crazy. Again, now he's going to make sure just to push on the far right, try and get his matchup against any of these guys. There's just so many walls where he can just use to his advantage. Jero is absolutely popping off on the B. A brilliant slow there, combines with Nawi. That is some fantastic teamwork, and he's got a super to warp this one in potentially. Actually goes for the shot instead, which maybe a little bit too rushed, but it doesn't matter if they've got positioning. But again, how are we going to get this Rosa out of any sort of pocket? They just haven't got anything to really deal with it. Jero with a great gadget gets a lot of damage. Now he's going to put the ball in a great position. Meow's pushing Moya all the way back, going to get the kill onto him easily. And yeah, now he's going to just walk straight into these guys and get the kills. So you can clearly see how much the draft is favoring them right here. Okay, jumping into the next game then. So of course, we've got the exact same matchup again, and then Tensai just gets deleted by the Rosa. Again, they just have no DPS to even stop a Rosa running at them, and that's going to be a free takedown. So I'm very rarely critical on Crazy Raccoon. In the past, I said the biggest weakness definitely is whether they can adjust their draft, and it was looking so solid day number one, but this one just looking like it's a complete mismatch. Going to pass that over to Nawi, and that's just going to be a really fast game. 30-second game against Crazy Raccoon is absolutely crazy. But first set, pretty easy. Let's jump into the next one. All right, guys, jumping into the next game then. So we have Kaboom Canyon and Heist. I think we've seen in the quarterfinals Crazy Raccoon use composition, which I didn't really think would work, but definitely worked against Totem. We see the Colt 8-bit Cordelius Band on the side of Zeta, and then Cordelius, Colette, and the Charlie. So you can quite clearly, when you watch pro gameplay, you'll see whoever has first pick, look at their opponents, what they ban. Those are going to be the best brawlers for that map. That's the way I learn, honestly, drafting as much as possible. Just those quick tips. And then we see the Gale and Nanny in response to the Chuck. I mean, Gale is pretty good overall, especially on Kaboom. Nanny as well, pretty decent overall. But definitely, I don't know about that combination in, well, truth be told. So in terms of what Zeta can go, trying to think off the top of my head. Like, again, I'm terrible at drafting at the moment. Like, seriously, I've not been playing enough Power League. You guys probably watched my stream where I went like 12-0. I'm still honestly very bad at drafting and need to learn, especially the pro meta. So Meg is so underrated right now, so underrated. I really enjoy going, especially on Knockout and Bounty, but whenever I get the chance to use her on an open map, she just seems to do so much, because like 98 takes a long time to kill Meg. That is one of the big reasons why they of course drafted for Meg. And then next pick is going to be Lou. So Lou, I think it's going to be pretty good into the Gale, I would say. Like, Lou can feed super off Gale pretty quickly, and just, you know, I think Lou's just going to play defense, and he can just shut down so many different brawlers in a row. That's the fantastic thing about him. They've got Chuck that's just going to go in on the safe all of the time, and then Meg's just going to fill that gap where she can do both. And then Tara, I think this is a pretty decent Tara game. Off the top of my head, I don't know who I would have gone instead. I still think the draft is very in favor of Zeta here. I would have liked to see something a little bit different from Crazy Raccoon, because we've already seen the Tara before here. But if it works for them, it definitely we're not going to change things. So you see, look at how the iPads are held, by the way. Like, I feel like that is some meta. I need to learn it for sure, because like on the side of Crazy Raccoon, they're the ones that started it. Like, putting the iPad flat, I guess maybe is a little bit easier to just maneuver. I don't know. I need to try it out, because it clearly is a big reason why they're able just to move so quickly and so easily. But already a super from Jero. He's going to get some nice taps onto Tensai. Now he's going to get a good setup already here. Going to get the kill onto Side Tempo as well, and get another super onto the safe. So already 30 seconds into the game, and he has a super on the safe. He's in the corner as well. He's played it so much better than some of the Chucks I watched this weekend. It's just absolutely beautiful to see. For the longest time, I felt like Chuck was pretty overrated, but then after watching some good pros play Chuck, I realized how strong he is in the round, specifically on Heist. He's going to get so much damage already, 50% lead. We see Tensai in the corner, which it's going to eventually do something, but Jero's going to get a freeze onto him, just get a kill in time, which is definitely going to be really good, because Nanny in the corner is just so annoying. So Tampo has super in the middle, which, is he going to use it yet? I think he does eventually use it onto the Meg, get the takedown as well. But Jero's just going to clean it up, and it's just why Lou's just so good. He's the cleanup guy. He's going to be able to defend better than anyone else in the meta right now. Again, now he just in the corner gets the super onto Vitara to get it recharged again, and then manages to get another super from that. The super charge rate as well from Chuck is just insane. So good. If you can hit one brawler, you're essentially going to get like triple the damage onto the high safe, whatever it is. You just get a lot of damage. So that's going to be the first game going away as Zeta. Let's jump into the next one. Okay, so the next game is up right here. Already Lou has a super. The spectating is a little bit like 5 seconds late into the game, so sometimes I miss a little bit of the action. But again, already now he is in the corner. I want to rewatch this again and see how he's able to get into the corner every single time, because he is up against some tough matchups, I would say. Like Gale's slow, Tara, like he should not be doing this straight away, just running up the map. Definitely something that CR should be looking to do a little bit better. But I mean, Tara in the corner is not really going to do too much. Gale on the safe isn't really going to do too much in terms of damage as well. So not too sure that CR turning this into a base race is a good idea, unless Nanny is on the safe. Gale's going to get some good damage though onto the Meg, but see here now he's just being so annoying in the spawn. He's going to be able to charge so many supers and get so much damage. Again, Lou and Jero and Meow just doing such a good job at defending every single time. A really clutch kill right there, and he gets the kill onto Side Tampo as well, whilst now we can finish off the safe. And wow, they're literally 4 games to 0 against Crazy Raccoon, which is just unheard of. Absolutely unheard of. Absolutely insane gameplay from Zeta. You do love to see it. Let's hop into the next one. Okay, so jumping into the third set, which actually could be the full sweep right here. We see the bans Lou, Charlie, and Jean from the side of Zeta. So those are clearly the best first picks. And then Carl, 8-Bit, and Mortis. So if you guys missed the semi-final, which I wanted to do that game, but it was Zeta versus Luminosity, and Jero's Mortis was insane. But we see a first pick Tick on the side of CR, which normally Tick isn't too bad first pick. But I don't know, as the metas have kind of evolved, Tick's not really done too much. Pretty easy to counter in terms of aggression, especially in a hypercharge meta. So they answer that with a Cordelius, which is a really good response. Cordelius can get up and personal to the Tick, use also his jump to maybe dodge mines, jump over Tick heads, etc, etc. In terms of next best options, there is Nanny and Piper available. I guess could be pretty good. Bell can be pretty solid as well. Mr. P, even on this map, there's a lot of options you can go. You go throw yourself. You go with the Nanny, which of course, going a Nanny in Bounty in general is just never a bad idea whatsoever. And in terms of Crazy Raccoon, they've got to pull something out of the bag here because they're losing drafts. They're losing just gameplay in general as well. They're just not looking the best right now. So they need to pull off the ultimate reverse sweep to, of course, stay in the competition, which is very hard to actually do. Of course, winning 3 sets in a row against Zeta is never going to be easy for anyone. So they're taking their time with a draft. They've been a lot quicker in other sets, but they go with a Stu, which to me is wild. Very, very wild. Stu on Bounty, you definitely have to play that really good. I guess he's going to use Long Dash, of course, to counter the Nanny and to counter the Cordelius. You know, Stu, I've always said, is a good matchup against Cordelius because when Cordelius takes Stu into the Shadow Realm, I feel like Stu can just deal damage better than Cordelius. I don't know, it always works that way. And RT, again, RT can never go wrong with Bounty as well. Pairs well with Tick as well. If you get a good mark and a Tick shot, it's so much damage. So I do like that as well. Of course, RT can deal with any more aggro propositions as well. And in terms of what they can last pick, honestly, I would go throw myself, like Sprout, Grom. I think Sprout is the best option because he counters Stu and has a decent matchup against Tick. We'll have to wait and see what I pick. They go with the Grey. So I completely forgot about this. Grey can be good against all of these, especially with the Gadget. But I don't know, I would have preferred the Sprout. A little bit more safer, especially against his Stu. Like, the aim of the game was against Stu. It always is, especially on an open map like Dry Season, is to not give him super. So you want to use a thrower. You want to use some range brawlers to stop him from getting super and charging it. I guess Stu could use like Wall Break and counter Sprout sometimes, I guess, once he gets his super. But at the same time, I just think if you play it perfectly, you could just dominate. So going into the 3rd round here, Super Sweaty game is literally tournament point here, and Zeta are just playing for their tournament life, so you got to be really careful here. Tensai managing to kill Naui, which definitely is really good. Oh, just missed walking cane there from Jero. About Grey, it's all about hitting those early walking canes because you just need to get your super as quickly as possible to be a big threat. The longer it takes to get his super, the more bad use you're going to be to your teammates. So Jero, he's going to go down there to Tensai. Tensai playing insane, by the way. Like, those taps were crazy good. Unfortunate for Jero, though. I feel like both of those walking canes could have probably missed, but I think he's got 1, maybe 2 left here, so he definitely needs to make a connection. Meow's going to push up. He's been playing insane on Cordelius all tournament long, making things happen whenever needed. Now we can't really kill any of these guys. Like, Tick can pop Gadget. I guess Stu can just... he's got enough HP to tank things. So it's going to be pretty hard for him. Meow's going to push up trying to get his super. I guess they can just kind of wait here. They only need to kill Tensai or get... actually, we can just get 2 kills in general as well. So we don't need to rush things here. Eventually try and get this Cordelius super. He's going to get targeted out by Tensai. 2 very good taps. Like, considering he's facing a Cordelius with that fast movement speed, very important taps to stop the pressure coming in here. Jero still hasn't got super, so a bit of an unfortunate game from him, which I just guess it is the Grey. Like, I just don't think the Grey did really have the best of matchups here. A nice Nanny is super right there. That is some really good communication. I love it when teams do that. When they hit someone very, very low, then your teammate finishes them off. Meow with his super in the Shadow Realm, which I kind of like, but his teammates aren't really backing him up the best. And they're not going to be able to get a kill there. Surely. Now we're so close to getting that kill. Oh, was that literally on the timer? I'm not too sure. That was ridiculously close. I guess it was a good play from Meow because, like, the star differential, it was always going to get a positive trade there. It was all about whether his teammates could clean up in the end, and they just didn't have enough time. Maybe 1 more second and they probably would have taken that, which would have been insane because then Crazy Raccoon would have literally had to pull off the biggest reverse sweep possible. But Meow already going weak here. This is what I'm talking about with the counters. Like, they're focusing him straight away, which is just beautiful gameplay to see. The Stu against Cordelius, always pretty good. You know, RT with the taps, absolutely beautiful gameplay from Crazy Raccoon. Again, Zeta just losing the early start, which in Dry Season is never what you want to do. Whenever someone has the lead in Dry Season, typically they just keep it because it's just so easy to sit behind walls, constantly trade out kills and whatever else. And now with a 5-star differential, it's going to be pretty hard for them to really come back. So Meow, I guess, can't really target Stu here because he can maybe dash away from the super, and you can't really kill Stu when he does have super to hand. So Moyard, not too sure why I didn't pop Gadget here. Gerald does get a really good walking game here. Now Zeta have the lead. Some brilliant communication. Of course, a really clutch super from Naui, and then just to take down there. I mean, Naui's just been insane all season long for sure. Definitely one of the best players in the world right now. Meow with a great super, but I'm just not sure about this, right? Because he goes in, but then dies. Like, I didn't really understand why. Like, that was probably one of the only bad plays Meow's done all tournament long. Like, in Bounty, obviously, if you can't get the kill, there's no point going in because you're always going to be at a negative trade. It's not a good elixir trade, you know what I mean. And now with 10 seconds left, the Nanny head goes in, can't really connect onto anyone. And with so much really happening here, I don't think the Zeta really have enough in them to get the kills. A really good super there, but doesn't really manage to take him down. It's very unfortunate from Zeta in the end, but Crazy Raccoon, they make things work. I feel like they did get lucky in that. That could have easily been a sweep from Zeta though. Let's jump into the next one. Alright guys, jumping into the fourth set, we have Gem Grab Last Stop. We have Rosa, Charlie and Sandy Band from Zeta, and then we have Cordelia, Sandy and Rosa Band. So double Sandy and Rosa Band. Two brothers, both teams don't want to see whatsoever. We see Vitara first pick, which actually was used a lot on this map. Like, I felt like Last Stop was a pretty easy map to counter Tara, to be honest, just because with the lanes are quite long range. I thought typically Tara would prefer maybe a lot of walls and whatever else, but we'll go with Buster. Buster, a fantastic counter to Tara. You may be wondering, well, why is Buster a counter to Tara? Well, because, you know, Buster has a lot of HP still. You can't pull a Buster as long as he's got super as well, and Buster can just shoot through the pets and actually out damage Tara, I would say, consistently at that kind of mid range. And also Buster can wall peek better, so he's actually a brilliant counter to Tara. And of course as well, if you get that gadget from Buster, he's just going to be able to do better. Also, I feel like the draft here in terms of the cycle actually works out for Zeta here because they're able to second and third pick max. When you get that combination, it's pretty deadly. That's how CR always managed to get max, is because they always well, they never really typically have last pick, which is just really strong for them because no, they never normally have first pick, sorry, so they can get that second and third combination. They go with Lou and 8-bit, which is pretty good overall. We've seen a lot of 8-bit in this meta, really good against Max. I would say one of the best counters to Max, purely because you can just keep at range against Max, and also as well eventually going to hit some shots against Max, right? And as well one decent full clip if you're using boosted booster can be very, very good. And then Lou is just going to be good against everything. But I think here, again, I've seen CR use Squeak in another match and it works so well. I just think Zeta have such an easy composition here. I think they've definitely got comp. 100%. I know they've got comp. Again, speaking to pros, they all agreed that they have comp. Straight away, as soon as I saw Squeak, I was calling for it. I was going to say like Mr. P maybe instead, but Squeak just as good. You can't have these type of brawlers against Squeak. The reason why, like, Squeak is really good at dealing against Tara. You can just pop one gadget and keep her back in spawn all the time. You also got 8-bit, of course. You're just gonna bully 8-bit with a Squeak because he's just so slow. And then Lou, like, what is Lou gonna do against all this? He can't hit a max. He can't really feed super off Squeak. It's gonna take a lot of, I'll say, quick thinking from CR to really do anything. So Tensai just walks through the middle here, which kind of questionable, but does get taken down anyways. But I feel like Gerald probably gave him a little bit too much respect there, because yeah, getting a Tara out of spawn would have been really bad. So Tempo just running into spawn as well. I guess good strategies from CR. This is what I really like about them as well. The quick thinkers. Whenever I've watched them before, when they don't have matchup, they just somehow tend to get in the spawn. So Tempo already has his hypercharge, by the way, which is insane. A terrible pull from Tensai. I guess he's just going to try and break open the grass, but that's going to be a really good super from Tempo. Doesn't actually manage to cycle though. I think pretty well played from Gerald as well to survive that. Now he's got a pretty tough game though, considering literally everyone's just focusing him. I feel like Meow should probably be playing a little bit better in this scenario. Like, he has some good matchups, but I guess they're just leaving Squeak lane as much as possible because it's such a hard matchup to win. Now he finally has positioning, but we're in a bit of a bad situation in terms of gems. Moya with some beautiful clips onto Jero. Now he's going to be able to get the kill there confirmed. And again, like, Moya's just been playing beautiful on this 8-bit. Like, typically you want to use boosted booster, but I guess against probably Squeak and Max, you want to use a stop out. I don't know. Maybe people are overrating boosted booster a little bit too much most of the time, but I like it. Again, one more gem needed from Moya. Looks like CR just playing this so beautifully. Another hypercharge super from side Tampo. He's going to just get that in a beautiful position, and there's just nothing that Zeta can do in this scenario. So CR looking to reverse sweep here. They're looking very, very strong. I think it's just been the side Tampo's show right here in this game, just cycling loose supers like it's no business. No one could literally push their lane pretty much all of the time, and that's going to be the game going for them. Well, one game going for them, and closer to getting that reverse sweep going. Okay, so jumping into the next game then. So we have a beautiful double gadget pull there from Now. He's able to get into the grass quite quickly, which is just great. Against Tensai as well, this should be an easy lane win. And I'm not too sure again what Meow is doing. He's trying to swap the matchup, but at the same time, just don't let Tensai get in. You've got a gadget that should be the freest lane ever, and literally the smallest mistakes, it's going to be very costly, especially against a team like CR. And Tensai's in their spawn. It's some beautiful Tara gameplay right there. Meow's going to pop a gadget again. Not really too sure about that gadget personally. I guess he's just trying to get it in a good position. Probably should have moved it a little bit further up just so the pinch was a little bit easier for himself. But I guess Zeta have 8 gems here, but still, Tensai in the spawn is doing wonders. This is going to be very annoying for Zeta, because until they get Tensai out, they're not going to be able to get the gems out even. He's still alive in the corner, 1000 HP and a dream, and he's able to just juke out so consistently, still stay alive. How is this guy still alive? How is he still alive? Like, what? I remember just screaming. How is he still alive? Manages to get a kill onto Meow as well, and I would be face palming if I was Zeta right here, because they had this game in their hands 100%, but Meow with some choke shots. I guess it happens to some people, especially because it's Tensai. Like, if it was some random Power League or just ladder player, you'd just be like, okay, that is really bad from Meow. But it is Tensai at the end of the day. Like, this guy is just absolutely cracked out his mind. But now positioning, going for CR, and it's just so hard, especially with Zeta's comp, to really get out of spawn. Tensai just respawns, runs straight up the map. And they need a miracle right here, because it's a very good positioning for CR. They need a max super. They needed that buster super to get a lot more value. But another loose super from side Tampo, and he's just cycling like crazy. How is he able to cycle so many supers against the Squeak? Like, I just don't really understand too much. I guess it's not the hardest counter for Squeak, but at the same time, he shouldn't be just freezing everyone to death all of the time. So that's going to be the CR set win. Again, I feel like moments Zeta could have definitely won the game, but that's definitely where good teams like CR, you know, thrive. They're able just to clutch up in so many moments. Jumping into the 5th and final set, we have Hot Zone dueling Beetles. Of course, Lou, Charlie, and Maisie banned, which Maisie is definitely a good target ban, especially for Crazy Raccoon. And then Barley, Squeak, and Rosa. So, of course, Barley and Squeak going to be really good last picks. And then Rosa's just Rosa, really good. Pretty much any pick, to be honest. So, in terms of Crazy Raccoon, they first pick Spike. So, I guess Spike is pretty good against everything, especially with Hypercharge. Can be really good on this map. It's basically a mini lose super if you get that Hypercharge, which can be pretty insane. But yeah, I've not seen too many teams first pick a Spike, I think. So, it'd be interesting to see how Zeta responded to this. Again, I kind of forgot most compositions. I definitely didn't forget what Crazy Raccoon went in the end. So I guess Pam hasn't been picked. Stu still open. Poco, a lot of the brawlers like that can be good against everything. They go with a Stu, which again now he just absolutely loves. If he was to watch Zeta all year long, now he was always just on the Stu constantly. So I feel like they could have maybe targeted banned a Stu against them a little bit more, in my opinion, just because of how strong he is on that Stu. In terms of next pick, I think they went Pam, if I can remember correctly, off the top of my head. By the way, the fans in the crowd were going crazy for this game. It was such a tense moment. They go with a Pam, which Spike's going to have a somewhat decent matchup against. I guess Spike, the only bad thing about it is that Pam has so much HP, so I guess it will take a long time to kill Pam. But at the same time, it's just 3 supers and 3 hypercharges for that Spike. Also, Stu into Spike, not really the best right there. I guess we're just taking Pam away from them because Stu's biggest counter by far has to be Pam, especially on Hot Zone. In terms of what I would go here, so people were saying that Poco should be a good pick, especially into a Pam and a Stu. It takes a long time for Pam and Stu to take Poco down, but what happens next is just... I can't explain it. It is very bad. I don't know what kind of went through their minds. I guess if you just see Stu and Pam, it makes sense, but it's bad. That is really bad. I just don't understand it. I don't understand in any world, especially when they have last pick, when you could pick, you know, they could literally pick Frank, Shelly, Ems. I actually called out the Ems because the reason, like, whenever I see Poco in a tank, it's just M straight away. She's such a good shutdown to those brawlers, especially as the last pick. And in terms of draft, again, you could even pick a Colette. Like, Colette would have been very solid against as well, but M's a little bit safer. I just don't understand CR and what they're thinking here, because Poco and Jackie on literally side Tampo and Tensai are the 2 most mechanically gifted players in the world, the 2 best players in the world, and probably of all time. And you put them on Poco Jackie, like, what? That is just disgraceful. It really is. That is some of the worst drafting I think I've ever seen. Like, look at that. Like, he just gets absolutely deleted. I don't know what they could have gone, maybe as a third. They just needed to go something different. I don't know. Jesse. Like, they could have gone, I guess, actually no, because they have last pick. It was just terrible. I don't know what they could have gone. You'll have to let me know what you would have gone in the comment section. Maybe like a Bonnie or just something different other than a Jackie. Like, what is Jackie gonna be able to do? Nothing. She's just getting deleted every time she walks up the map. I just don't understand it. But Spike, he's gonna be able to get a good super off there. Again, they need to deal with that. I mean, they have good positioning now, but Meow just gets a nice gadget and just takes down Poco pretty quickly. And once they get the setup, it's going to be dirty. I mean, now he puts the super down there, but I guess Jackie can just destroy that pretty quickly. Moya has a hypercharge super here, so he's going to use that against the Stu. Does get taken down, though. I think that was a really bad play from him. Definitely a bad error, because I don't know why he's just going that aggro. Tensai also using Screeching Solo, which... let's face it, it's not going to do anything against that composition. Like a Pam and a turret, Stu has a lot of HP with the shield gear. Actually, no, he's not even using it. But Ems has a good value. Like, you should just be using the Capo, surely, right, against this. I mean, all things considered, though, the percentages are pretty close. But Zeta just slowly getting more and more time. Poco, the reason why he's still so good in Hot Zone, because he can just run up to the Hot Zone easily every time. So Tampo hesitated a little bit. I guess he was kind of trying to shoot things out, but definitely a little bit of hesitation. And now there's going to be the full team wipe on the side of Zeta, and as long as Ems can get a super pretty quickly, it's going to be hard for them to pinch her out. Again, they're just slowly feeding super away from side Tampo, but he can't do anything. He's a Jackie. What do they expect him to do? Maybe if they went Brawl or another tank, that could have been a little bit better. Was Buster open? I can't remember off the top of my head. Just anything other than Jack in this scenario. Like, what is you going to do? You're against the Stu as well that can break open the map. Maybe if they didn't have any type of wall break on their side, I could still understand it a little bit. But I just don't know right here. Moya's going to go down as well. And that's just going to be the Zeta just taking them down in the end. I mean, as long as Zeta don't do anything stupid and compose himself, they're going to win this game easily. So that's going to be set point and match point for Zeta. So now moving on to match point right here. CR need to do a madness. They need to... oh, okay. Yeah, they can't do a madness here because Ems just completely destroys Jackie. But what I was saying is that Jackie needs to get in their spawn and try and spawn trap them as long as possible. But Zeta just not allowing that to happen. So props to them so far. So again, Ems going mid, which is pretty fair. Satampo again, I'm not too sure. If you're gonna use your gadget, you kind of just gotta run at him in a straight line. But I guess he's against a really tough matchup. I think he's got one gadget left, which using the Poco gadget probably needs to run in as soon as possible. Some good jukes there. Definitely dodging as much Ems damage as possible. Does get a takedown onto Meow, so he plays that much better this time around. But again, the pinches are just too strong. It's just so hard to really dodge it out with Jackie. Tensai just gets deleted by Jero and Naui in the end, and Zeta are just popping off at the moment. It's just beautiful to see the teamwork and what they can really do right here. Jero getting some good consistent damage here. Meow getting a takedown onto the Poco as well. Interesting to see what stop power. Meow's been good and not been paying attention. I guess he's going to go the extra damage stop power against the Jackie, just try and get her down as much as possible. I'll have to see how much damage he does. Okay, he does a lot of damage. Surely he's using the back karma stop power. He's constantly going to focus side tempo here to try and keep him low. Moya does have his hypercharge here, deletes now. He doesn't actually get the kill though, especially he just needed to get that kill just to get as much percentage as possible. So Tempo has hypercharge here, but he's going to use it onto Jero, get the takedown here. And this is where things looking pretty bad for Zeta. Full positioning for CR, but Side Tempo is so weak. I guess if Poco was using the capo, could have got Side Tempo healed up so much quicker, but they have to run back. Moya's going to be pretty weak, and now positioning going for Zeta with a super as well. It's looking so dangerous. Like, how do you get Emza out of positioning with super? It's just too much for them to handle. Like, what are they going to be able to do? And now the clock going down is just nothing that they can do in the end. Nearly Side Tempo gets the kill, but Zeta managed to take down CR, which was still a huge upset because people thought CR were going to go the whole way. You can see the smiles coming down from Zeta. They've got to be relieved. Like, these guys do not break a sweat, but you kind of saw it in their faces there. That was such a close game. You just got to take it to these guys because people still doubted Zeta. They still doubted them, but they managed to pull off the win in the end. And of course, the handshakes coming in. Side Tempo looks absolutely distraught. Bless him. I feel really bad for him. That's a huge defeat. A huge defeat, especially considering that that's 2 world finals in a row he unfortunately misses out on. But that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comment section below what video you want to see next, and I'll see you guys next time.